G'day viewers. I was just speaking with my good mate and Australia's favourite Canadian, Chris from Stubbs Aquatics, about my old koi pond, which I used to have when I lived somewhere in Australia where you were actually allowed to keep them. And it brought back a lot of fond memories. So I pulled out the old photo album and I thought, well, let's take a trip down memory lane together. Now all of these photos, viewers, were taken with a good old-fashioned film camera, which if you remember, you'd take your photos, you'd drop them off at the chemist, and you wouldn't know whether the photos turned out till the next day when you got them back. And for anyone under about 45, ask your parents. Now this is my old house, which like all good things came into being in the mid-1970s, which you can clearly tell by that orange brick and that god-awful orange tiled roof, and everything that was painted mission brown. Yeah, you know what I mean. But I didn't buy the house because of what it looked like on the outside. I bought it for this little courtyard, because as soon as I saw it, I knew exactly what I was going to do with it. Where all that dirt is was all white quartz stones, which was very 1970s and 80s. And you can see all that brown tiling there, and yeah, it was pretty awful. And the old green shade cloth up on the roof there, and it was all a bit rotten, and the old Oregon timber had probably seen better days. And because this was my younger days before I had kids, which means I had more spare time and a lot more money, so I got right into it. And here's the pond mid-build. Started by digging a trench and laying a footing with some trench mesh, and when we concreted the footing, left some Rio bars standing up to fit the holes in those Besser blocks. So then we stacked the blocks over the Rio and then cavity filled it all with concrete. It was strong, it wasn't going to go anywhere. And then once all those blocks were concreted in and everything was settled, I lined it with some pond liner, and luckily for me, my next door neighbour was a bricklayer, so he came round and laid the capstones for me so everything was nice and level. Yeah, and it turned out pretty well. And here's the end result. So I ripped down all that old shade cloth and replaced any damaged timber up the top and put a new laser light roof in, and then rendered all the walls, rendered all that brick, painted it that nice light colour to make it more airy and make the area feel a bit bigger, and then laid concrete pavers straight over the top of those crappy old brown tiles, which yeah, looked a lot neater and again makes the area feel a lot bigger. And here's the view from the other end, and if you look closely on top of the pond, there's a big concrete box because the filter was inside the carport, which is on the other side of that wall, and it flowed out into a big concrete planter box that I cut a piece out the front and then tiled, and it made a waterfall, and then grew lots of plants in that box, which made for a really good filter, and it gave us that nice waterfall effect. Now viewers, we could look at photos all day, but I know you're here to see the koi, especially you Stubbs. So I'm going to show you the only piece of footage that I have, because this was back in the day before everyone had a mobile phone that had a video camera in it. So this was taken with an old digital camera. It's not the best, but it's all I have. And I know, Chris, these koi probably aren't quite up to your standard, but these were my babies and I loved them very much and I miss them terribly. So, without further delay, here they are. Now I know that was only short, so let's watch it again.